Live actually out here at the park. I was just went walking just a few minutes ago. Let me set this up, drop it down just a little bit. Wait for the notifications to go through, but let me drop some things on you, man. So much good game that's out there. So much stuff to talk about, but I'm gonna wait for everybody to come through start before I start talking about it. But I definitely have some things to talk about. And I'm gonna talk about it Friday. And I put up a post, I think earlier Sunday, put up a post Sunday on some of the issues that we see inside, say, of the manosphere. So I definitely want to talk about that. One of the things I see, one of the issues in the manosphere is not the money, it's not the wealth, it's not attracting women. I think one of the issues that we see that's going on is the issue of we don't have a lot of father figures. We don't have a lot of men in place to teach other men. We don't have a lot of men in place to teach other men. Or who, let me say this, properly vetted men, father figures to teach other men so that the game can matriculate from one person to the next. We are lacking pillars in our community and in our surroundings to actually help us get to the next level. So you want to get this game today, I'm going to talk about that. One of the issues in the manosphere, and I've been here for a long time. I've been here longer than most people think I've been here, but I've been here for a long time. Peace, what's going on? Good to see you. One of the issues I see in the manosphere is we lack father figures, men who can share from their experiences, from their failures, from the successes, on how to navigate in this world. And I think what we're seeing in the avid inside of the manosphere and collective manosphere as a whole, black manosphere and all like that, we don't have enough father figures or men who actually sharing from their experiences so that you don't go through the same thing. And what we also don't have is a lot of men, put this gum out, a lot of men who do not share, who do not express, who do not articulate their voice of their pains, their disappointments, the things that they're going on. And so we have another we stifle the generation behind us from going any further. So there is a loss of the baton being passed from men from one generation to the next. And I don't want to be guilty of that, especially based on the amount of experience that I have with women, with life, with failure, with money, with Rolls Royce riding to homelessness. All those things need to be talked about, especially inside of the manosphere. Side note, I've been seeing the master number 33 all week. Wow, that's good. That's good to you. Good. Salute to you. I'm glad you haven't seen that master number. But I'm seeing that there is a lot of the issues that we see in the manosphere, even why this space is even created, is because there has been no voice from men. The barbershop conversations have gone out the window. I have learned from your experience and others. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. And I think a lot of what's happening is a lot of boys, and this needs to be talked about. A lot of boys did not have that father conversation or a conversation with a man to say, hey, this is what you do and this is what you don't do. This is where I messed up and this is where you don't mess up at. Do you know how many conversations to this day I sit down and listen to older men who have failed, who have succeeded, who have not succeeded, and listen to what they have done? The baton has been not passed on to the next generation. And I had to go back to my generation. We dropped it. We dropped it. My generation, I'm 51. My generation before me and a little bit below me have dropped it. Or they give you erroneous information, or they give you all the success stories, but they never tell you their failures. Let me say that again. They'll tell you, oh, I got this woman, I drove this car, I did this, but they never tell you the struggles that they went through. So in this space, in this manosphere, it is important that we have real men giving real information and not just book knowledge. I'm all for book knowledge. I'm all for getting your education. I'm all for you knowledge, but the real game is passed on from man to man. Let me say that again. The real game, the real experience, the real life situations is passed on from man to man. Not no, no I wish it was. I wish people would get this. It's funny. My father taught me some lessons that I wouldn't understand until later. Correct, and that's what a father's supposed to do. But I think there's been this fascination on learning about women and how to get women, but it has not been a fascination of learning how to be a man. Uh-oh. I know I shouldn't have stood up for some of my contemporaries. There's been this fascination of learning how to get women, how to get laid, how to get some, but there has not been a fascination on how you need to be a man and how you need to be a leader. The women are the women are just a the women are just a reaction or a response to you just being a man. But we in this space, this manosphere, I can't say I'm a part of it. I can't say I'm not. I'm a part of it, and I'm not a part of it. But one thing I realized, me being a man right now, the important thing that we can do is that we me, I'll take responsibility, is to give you and show you how a man is supposed to talk, how is a man supposed to walk, how a man fails, how a man did not do things right. And I think we have damaged this manosphere, damaged the black manosphere by being enamored on women and getting kitty cat and not being enamored on being a man. Because you know what it is? A lot of these guys, and I'm gonna say it, and I know a lot of people ain't gonna like it. A lot of these dudes are raised by their mama, and that's all they're used to. A lot of these dudes are raised by their mothers, and their mothers is the one who, and their way of thinking is like a woman and not like a man. So anytime a man tells them something or tells them that they ain't right, they can't take criticisms, they can't take accountability, and they don't know how to deal with the world. So what we doing a lot of times in this manosphere, we have a lot of men who are raised by their mother, and their psychology is that of a woman. Their psychology is that of a woman and not of a man. And you wonder why you cannot attract a woman if you're thinking like a woman. Steve Harvey should have put a book out for these men right now that think like you look like a man, but you're thinking like a woman. That is the problem I see, especially in this space. We have not galvanized we have not galvanized our manhood separated from women. I'm watching the numbers. I know guys don't want to hear this, but this is the real truth of the game. We have not galvanized our manhood outside of women. Let me say that again. A lot of us, me included, been teaching it, but we have not galvanized our manhood outside of a woman. Everything is predicated on what the woman likes and what she likes and what she don't likes, and how can I get her, and how can I please her, and what can I need to do? How do I get laid? We have not galvanized and taught that your manhood has nothing to do with the woman at all. Your manhood, let me say that again, has nothing to do with the woman at all. Salute, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. I like that. We just need more pimps and less pigs. Correct. I appreciate. Thank you for that super chat right there. I appreciate that. Be pinned that. Okay, you put that. Oh, you're gonna okay. Pin that to the top. Appreciate that. So what we done is we have made men lopsided in this manosphere. What I mean lopsided, they have been get all the information on how to get a woman, but they ain't man, but they thinking like a woman. We got all this information on what you need to do to attract a woman and what you need to do to get her, how you need to dress and how you do all that, but they have not galvanized, put you back in place, put you back on balance on how to be a man. We have not taught that in this space. We have not taught that enough in this space. And we're wondering why it's not working, or you're not getting the full essence of who you are because you have not been galvanized on how you doing, or you have not been galvanized on what it means to be a man in this society. So what we have done is we have shortchanged. I have, other content creators have, they won't say it. I've shortchanged the people that listen to us by only giving you information on game to get women. If all they're giving you is game to get women, you need to look at them and say, why they're not giving me game for life? Because game is not just for women. I've been saying this for years. Game is about life. But let me say back to this manosphere. We need father figures, men who went through stuff, men who know something. And listen to the other side of this too. You need men who who share their failures. You didn't come out the womb, your mama's coochie, knowing everything on how to navigate through this world. You failed at something. What we don't do is share with the other men where we failed at and how we got up. Yup, 3 or 4 is coming and going, right? So what we have is, and I'm glad you said that, we got a lot of men who criticize the women for 3 or 4s, but they have a 3 or 4 mentality. They criticize all these women are doing this, they doing this, but the reality of it is a lot of men are just men. They're mass, and to take that term from Ron Wills, they're mass men, but their mentality is that of a woman. That's why the game ain't working for them, because they have not galvanized their manhood outside of a woman. What I mean galvanized, you have not solidified, you have not laid a foundation that my manhood has nothing to do with a woman at all. And the reason why you don't know that, because the education system, the media, and everything else has been against you as the man having that foundation. So if I can keep you, good afternoon, what's good, what's going on, Renee? The pimp is the 3-0 hole that reversed the game on them, right? So what happens is when men only want game to get women, they are lopsided. When men only want game just to get women, they're lopsided because they have not laid a foundation on them being men. This is what this manosphere, black manosphere, yellow manosphere, green manosphere has done, which has helped a little bit. But what we did is we got people when one leg is long and the other one leg is short because they have no kind of foundation of being a man. I've seen it, I watch it, I've been guilty of it. You can have tons of panels talking about this stuff, about what women ain't doing and what Sexy Red ain't doing, what Carly B is doing, what Snooki is doing, what that one is doing. But the reality of it is, until men understand that my manhood is not tied into a woman, but that my manhood is tied into me being a man, then you will see a change. And I can't blame the men for not knowing that, because society itself, and we may not want to talk about it, but society itself is always against men being men, because if men start being men, you cannot control them. Let me say that again. Society, jobs, education system. I don't even want to go into the education. You're right. I don't. Why is it so hard to understand the game is about self and not about other people? I don't know. People just don't get it. Society, the culture, the media, social media, especially the educational system, has been against anything that is of masculinity. Would you say? This is so true. Everything has been turned into how to get women and how to do this. The reality is, in any substance, you have to really search for it. Correct. And what happens is, when a man is strictly focused on how to get women, how to get this, what do I need to wear, how do I need to dress, instead of being focused on being him, He loses his purpose, his everything of being who he is. Man, if I can tell you, ooh, I'm ashy. If I can tell you the number of of issues that can be resolved if we have the fathers or the men telling you the truth about how it is. And the reality of it is, and I'm gonna say it too, the reason why a lot of people cannot handle when a man said something, they couldn't handle Tristan Tate, they couldn't handle Kevin Samuels, they couldn't handle other people because they have not used to of a man speaking from his chest and speaking from who he is and not sugarcoating everything. The being class, correct. That's the problem. When you have a generation of men who have been tricked, bamboozled, who've been given the mentality to think like a woman, but they are biologically in the man suit. That's what the problem is. So men are struggling with their identity as men. We're not talking about sexually. We're talking about this being comfortable being men. And what happens is you come to the manosphere because you want something, or you come to the manosphere looking for something that you have not been blessed. No one has blessed you and say, what? This is my son and who I am well pleased. The only way Jesus was able to do what he was able to do because he got baptized by John, and guess what happened? He got out of the water, and God said from the heavens, "This is my son, in whom I'm well pleased." A lot of men, and I'm gonna say this again, I said this through the pandemic, have not came along and realized that they have not got the blessing from their father. Many of them don't even know their fathers, and the sad reality of it is, a lot of men's fathers are their mothers. A lot of men's fathers are their mothers. They have not dealt with a real man at all. This is, I know I'm talking all over the place, but I'm actually on track of what I want to say. A lot of the men, fathers, are really their mothers. And so their psychology and way of processing things is a problem because they're thinking like a woman. And then we have the women. We're not saying, well, where are the real men? But the real men are thinking like you, and they're not thinking like men. The psychology of a lot of men are like women. Yeah. If you never had your father, remember the Lord is your shepherd. And that, let me say that too. I agree that the Lord is your shepherd and you shall not want. But at the same time, we need tangible men down here, and not down here to actually speak into speak into speak into these generation around us. And some of these other mothers are more masculine than the husband, correct? And that's a problem. And so a lot of men have been emasculated before they even tapped into being into their manhood. Let me say that again. A lot of men have been emasculated before they even got into their manhood. We have an issue. We have a real problem. We have a lot of men who are searching for their fathers, and they think it's between them, in between a woman's legs. Let me say that again. We have a lot of men who are searching for their father, and they think it's in drugs. They think it's in between a woman's legs. They think it's in um, making a lot of money. And the reality of it is, you will never find your father there. I think we did a whole series, me and John, on the father factor. So a lot of men are searching for their fathers. And what happens is when you're searching for your father like that, you end up making mistakes. Let me drop something on you. I watched the Kirk Franklin documentary on his battle of looking for his biological father and finally finding him and realizing that his mother lied to him several times about who his biological father. Here, this man who won Grammys, who been on movies, who have done all this, did all these things. At the core, a man is looking for a father because he needs his identity. Salute, what's going on? A lot of men, you have got your identity from your father. I mean, you got your identity from your mother, and you wonder why things don't feel right about yourself. And there's a pain in you because you're battling something that no one else has. You battling something that you think you're alone. That pain inside of you is you have that, once again, you have the mentality of a mother, of your mother and not of your father, and you do not have the identity of your father. A lot of men are suffering in silence, especially on this manosphere and on these YouTube streets. They're suffering because they're looking for a father and they're thinking they're going to find it in game. They're thinking on getting on a bunch of women. They think they're going to get it because they're going to get a bunch of pussy. They think that's going to be the thing. No, you'll never be satisfied because you have not got your true identity that really comes from your father. And if your father was not there, then it has not come from another man. Why do you think the success of Deion Sanders is because he's being a man? He's arrogant, he's confident, and people can't stand that. You know why they can't stand it? Because it's going to cause the lion and other men to stand up. That's the real issue. You know why they can't stand Deion Sanders? Oh yeah, he winning, he's cocky, he's saying things, he got little sayings that he do. But the real issue with Deion Sanders is he does not think like a woman. He thinks like a man, and he says things to he triggers the masculinity in you to come out. So the problem is this. The problem is this. Who on these YouTube streets really has spoke to the pain inside of you of the lack of fatherhood or the lack of your fathering not being there? The other thing is that women suffer from as well, right? And they have to step up and lose their femininity. Very good point. But a lot of men have not dealt with the pain because they're looking for their identity, say in the gang or in the streets, robbing, stealing, hiding themselves in their success. And the reality of it is the pain that a lot of men have not dealt with is that they do not have their fathers. In the advent of the early 60s to almost around, with men not being there, has caused a void inside of men's life, not only in men, but also in women's life. But we're talking to the men today. And what happens is that void has been filled with everything else. But the pain, the really pain that's there is you need your father to say, yo, that's my son and I'm proud of you. A lot of this game, and I'm all for game because I teach game, a lot of issues with women, a lot of issues with money will be resolved once you realize that a lot of my issues are traced back to the absence of true fatherhood or true father figures in my life. We always talk about the pimps. Pimps are smart enough to go to the older pimps to get information on how to pimp the hoes. Just keep it 100. Other pimps go to older pimps on what they need to do, how to deal with a woman. What happens in this space, the younger men are fighting the older men, and the older men are competing with the younger men. Instead of us exchanging information so that we all move together as one team. I've seen it. I've been in this space a long time. 2007, before it was a manosphere. So we have the younger men, oh, these old niggas don't know nothing. Then we have the young older men competing with the younger dudes. Dude, we are in two different spaces. I don't need to compete with nobody younger than me. If you're making more numbers, you're making more money, hey, I need to learn from you. But there ain't no competition. And then we have the younger dudes who don't want to learn from the older dudes so they don't make the same mistakes because everybody feel that they know it all. It's because we don't honor fathers in this space. We do not honor Oh, we don't honor people who have wisdom. Because you know why you don't honor men who have wisdom? Because y'all, a lot of y'all mammies never honored men that have wisdom or honored men. Society has taught you not to honor men. Your education system didn't honor men. So you have a psychology of not honoring men when they begin to speak. I want y'all to tell me tell me in the chat room right now, how many of y'all in your elementary school, junior high school, and you can name the amount of men that were teachers, not the gym teacher, not the track coach, who were teachers. How many men were actually teachers in your school? How many men were me and my sister were talking about this today. We were walking. How many men were actually teachers in your school, in your elementary school, in your junior high school? I ain't talking about the track coach. I ain't talking about the gym teacher. I'm talking about actually taught a course to you. How many men were there? That's only a couple of them. They were, oh, see, Renee, baby. Thank you, Renee. Renee, right there. Only a couple of them, they were gay. Bing bong. Do you see why we have an issue with fatherhood? We have an issue with authority. We have an issue with accountability. Yes, there's a stigma against male teachers. Yeah. Yes. Think about it. In your formative years, you didn't see men teaching or instructing. It's going to be hard for you to take teaching and instruction outside of when you leave work or when you leave school, because you never had that authority in your life, let alone if you didn't have a father. All your education came through what? A woman, which I'm not saying that's a problem that it came to the woman, but if you never seen the authority of a man inside of a school system, if you never seen the accountability that a man's going to hold you to inside of a school system besides a coach, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have a problem with other men, but you're going to have a problem being an authority your own self because you never seen it. Yeah, competition is a problem. Yeah, you never seen it. I can name a number of men that were teachers. By the time I got to high school, we had at least about 5 to 6 male teachers inside of my high school. Guidance counselor I had one, my guidance counselor, he wasn't my guidance counselor, but he was in the grade above mine. He was their guidance counselor, was a male. That is the reason why it's hard for a lot of us men inside of this manosphere to receive something from a man, is because we never received it or seen it in our formative years, let alone that there was a father. So don't tell me about game and about women when you have not even, you don't even understand what has been done to you. They have tricked you, they have bamboozled you, they have done y'all in because they have robbed you of your identity. I robbed you of your identity, especially of a lot of men. You have not seen it. That's why it's so enticing to join the gang. Unfortunately, women are not giving up their power in the adult. Right? They're not going to get it, and they as they shouldn't. That's why it's so easy to join a gang. That's why it's so easy to join this group and join that group. You know why? Because it's a sense of another man and structure, leadership, someone sharing you what to do. So this manosphere, and this is no indictment on the manosphere because I'm a part of it, large, small, whatever the case be, black or yellow, whatever you want to call it. The issues that we have is why they were so venomously against Tate and against Kevin is because they never seen a man speak on that wise. It's a big problem and can't get all your validation from women. Correct. Brotherhood. It's a brother. Right. You see, if you ever be in a room, especially if you was in a room with my grandfather and his friends, and I sit there as a little kid listening, they were not about all this soft talking, I don't want to offend you kind of conversation. When you grew up around my grandfather, who's born in 1929 or 1933, 1 and 2, 1929, 1933, whatever. There was no soft talking. They were not talking to you like they were going to hurt your feelings. And that's what's missing. And that is the reason why women are having a hard problem, because they have turned into the man. You know why women don't have accountability? It's not because they weren't taught it. It's because where was the man to say, baby, you need to be accountable for what you're doing? Where was her father? And so let me tell you the other side of this, and y'all may not like what I'm about to say next. Y'all, if you don't want me to say what I'm going to say next, let me know. Let me know in the chat room. Let me know y'all want me to say what I'm going to say next. What time is it? 1:12:43. I got to go home and cook my lunch and get ready for work. Let me know in the chat if you want me to say what I'm going to say next. I know this is hard hitting on a weekday, but I'm going to continue it on Friday. Said, if a man hasn't played or been a part of a team, they're 10 times hard to deal with. Thank you so much, bro. You're right. Here we go. A lot of the issues that we're seeing inside of this manosphere, in this space, all these catty going back and forth, so enamored with what everyone else is doing. We have trained our women to be the men, and we have trained the men to be the females. Repeat what I just said. We have trained and got women to be the males, and we have not trained our men to be men. And what has happened is, and not train our men to be men. Now, that's a good point right there. Maybe the issue is that the teachers are underpaid, making it hard for teachers to be a provider for their families. Being a teacher takes some sacrifice. Maybe that's another reason males aren't in the field. How do you destroy society too? Right, correct. That's a very good point, because I've been in the education field. Actually, I went to college to be a teacher. That's what I went to college for, to be a teacher, to teach history, actually. But the issue, when I taught, and I didn't teach in a school or anything like that, and I did not get my degree. So I want to buy, well, you don't have the degree or whatever. How do you know this? I taught Sunday school, and I taught. The biggest issue and I'm glad you're bringing this up. Yeah, it's the money part. No, the biggest issue, that was the problem inside of many public schools and some private schools, is that there was an issue with discipline, because there was no discipline in home, and these kids came to school acting a damn fool. And all that can be resolved if there was a father and a mother in the house. When I got in trouble at school, I got in trouble in 3rd grade, Miss Collins' class. My father and mother had to come in there. I was scared, because I did not want my father to get up there and show out. When me and my brother got in trouble in high school, and some of the kids in the neighborhood got in trouble, my father put on a suit. And at the time, we didn't have a car. He walked to the high school and came and checked on me, not only me and my brother, but he came and checked on the other young men in the neighborhood and what was going on at the school with them. So ain't nobody can tell me that. Biggest problem I had when I did teach on some multiple levels, I had to more discipline more before I can even teach anything. And that is the issue with these grown men in this manosphere. You got to discipline more than when you can teach. Because you know why they're out of discipline? Because nobody has checked them and put them in them place. And if you do, they get upset and get in emotions and then go make a channel and then go cry about it. And they said something about me. I can't believe they did this. That's so wrong. Why would he talk about me? Oh, that's not right. They get in their feelings because they had never been checked or corrected by a man. Oh, I know. Go outside of this channel and go watch any other channel. You'll see people making reaction videos or videos about how some man is crying and whining about some woman. This is not a complaint. This is not even an indictment on men. This is a call. This is a call to arms for men to step up. If you are missing that father figure in you, if you're missing that part of you, that pain, that pain that's there, you need to address it. I thank God that my father was there. I thank God he whooped me. I thank God he corrected me. I thank God he told me when I was right and when I was wrong. I thank God for the other men around me who told me when I was right and wrong. I still have that in my life. I've run things by other men. Why? Because other men ain't gonna take your sugar honey iced tea. Other men gonna be like, no, man, you tripping, you wrong. But if you have men who are thinking or in the psychology of like, oh, it's okay, it's gonna be fine, you're gonna be weak. And what we have now, we have a lot of men who are weak, but they want all the women. Think about it. Think about this scenario. Not in the moment, but yeah, I'm glad my father whipped me too. Question, how do I begin to address this and solve these issues? Correct. Great point. Great point. The biggest thing is you address that my father wasn't there. I'm just saying if that's the case. It is a pain. I do many times when there's no father there, you don't have an identity. You have no grounding point to settle your masculinity down in. So how do you resolve that? How do you resolve that? You address it, and then you find men who can speak into your life, who are going in the direction you need to go. You need to find men, either online or in person, who can speak into your life and guide you into the direction you need to go. There's a lot of men who's in this place. If you're a man's, if you're a man over 50 and a teacher by default, brother, right? Make sure you teach the right thing too, because some of these 50-year-olds be teaching some goofy stuff. But go find a man, go find a group of men who can teach you. I still go get taught. I still go listen to other men who are older than me. I listen to some younger guys too, but I go listen to some older men who know more than what I know. And it ain't always about women. Let me say that again. I must emphasize that. It ain't always about women. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm so tired of in this space. I'm seeing another generation of men regurgitating talking points that have already been talked about women nature. I'm seeing it already. I'm seeing another, and they're getting tons of views. Oh, okay, cool. I'm not mad about it, but come on, man. Come on, man, for real. If all you're gonna talk about is how to get women and not how to be a man, you missed the boat. You missed the boat. I hate to say it, and I'm not calling out names. I'm not saying my way, but if all you're gonna do is talk about women, and you know, how do I get her number? How I get laid? How do I do this? Which is good. I understand that. But if you have not talked about the first fundamentals, which is you being a man and you being a leader, none of this game ain't gonna work. And I focus on becoming the man so I can set the example. Correct. Good. I like that. But if you're just focusing on that, and I understand the reason why a lot of men want those channels or want those things, because they didn't have a man to tell them how to deal with women. I understand it. Don't get me wrong. Thinking with your lower nature, right? But if you gotta now, you gotta think now. What really attracts a woman is you being a man. Most of all, you being a freaking leader. Now, I want everybody to be honest in here. We got a lot of, we got several men in here. How many of you were taught how to be a leader when you were little, when you were younger? Let me know in the chat room. How many of you men were taught how to be a leader when you, from a little boy? How many of y'all were taught how to be a leader? Let me know in the chat room. What is the difference between manifesting and praying? If you already have it. Okay, that's a question. That's a sidebar question. I'll have to answer that on another time, but that's a good question. How many of you were taught how to be a leader when you were little? Were you groomed to be a leader as a little boy? Not exactly, more to be a, oh, wow. How many of y'all were really taught how to be a leader? How many of you, when you was a little boy, somebody, your mama, somebody, your cousin, your uncle, somebody taught you that I'm gonna teach you how to be a leader? How many? Can you mention the foundation building blocks of being a man and leader? Yeah. How many of y'all were taught that? Not many. See, I had to look at the numbers. Not many. But y'all want to learn about women. You want to learn about how to get sex, how to make a woman squirt, how to do all this kind of stuff. But how many of y'all were really set down and taught how to be a leader? Not many. Now, now the other question is, I can answer that. That's a sidebar question. I want to stay on topic. No, leadership needs to be a curriculum in homes and school and church. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Not many. Not many have been taught how to do that. You know why they don't want you to, why it wasn't taught for you to be a leader? Because then you would take control of your neighborhoods, you would take control of your community, and you would take care of your nation. The other reason why it was not taught to you, because you become a threat to the overall society. Ooh, wow, these not you right there. Any resemblance of my dad's leadership qualities in me, my mom blocked it hard. Whoo, man. Do you see we have an issue now? And I'm gonna get to that question because it's a good question. Just a good statement right there. That part right there. Do you see the internal war inside of many little boys and many grown men with these nut statement? What he just said. Any resemblance of my dad's leadership qualities in me, my mom blocked it hard. So here you fighting the leadership that your father was trying to give you, and here your mother said, no, don't do that. You in my house is what you're gonna do. So you're fighting an internal war inside of you and don't even know it. So you're fighting your mother's psychology along with your dad's psychology, which is really your true psychology. And you are internal war, but you think pussy's gonna solve it. That right there is a statement right there that needs to be real. I gotta pin that to the top. That right there. Any resemblance of my dad's leadership was what? Blocked. I don't hate my mom. It's just their nature, but I have to do all the hard work of rewiring. Right there. Man, you don't know how much that pains me to even deal with that, to even address even that. Somebody asked, what are the building blocks for manhood? The first building block is self-awareness. And where do you get your self-awareness from? Your father. Yeah. Let me say that again. One of the building blocks for leadership and manhood is your ability to know who you are. And how do you get that identity? You get that identity, good, bad, or indifferent, from your father. Even women, much as they, a lot of women um, may may not like it, but they get their identity too from their father. But that statement right there is very simple. Put a child in a crossroads. Whose leadership do you follow? Mom's or dad's? Example, especially when a child spends most of the time with their mother. Right there. Right there. But we want to learn about how to get kitty cat. We want to learn how to make a woman do that. I can teach on it. And I haven't did the LD after dark. That sounds all good and dandy. But we need to deal with that right there. The crossroads that a lot of men are in. And the thing of it is, it didn't stop just because you got grown. It didn't stop just because you're a grown man now. It actually is still going on inside of you. Because you're thinking when you interact with a woman, do I obey my father's leadership or what he thinks or what he said, or do I obey my mother? And women know it. Let me say that again. And women know it, that you're battling inside of you. Woo, man, management, administration, and negotiation. I like that. You're battling at the crossroad. That is the reason why you won't game, because you're trying to resolve the internal fighting from your childhood of listening to your father or listening to your mother. Ooh, the numbers went down on that one. I love that. Good, numbers went down. They didn't want to hear that one. Numbers went, brrr. Oh man, no, man, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear some good game. Show me what I need to do to get these women. How do I get these hoes? All these women and hoes. And here you internally battling. Internally, I love that. Mom's leadership, I'm confused. Wow. Straight facts. Yeah. Do you listen to mom's what she's saying, or do you listen to what your father or what men? And it even have to be, it could be your biological father or men on what they say. You battling inside, and so what you do is you want game to resolve it. No, we need to resolve the internal battle that you have inside of you about who to listen to. The little boy inside of you is still battling inside of you. The battle between the mom and the father's advice, especially in the tumultuous environment. Totally mine. Yup. That's exactly what's happening. A man deals with things completely different than a woman. And trust me, this is no indictment against anybody's mama. So don't nobody call their mama and say, LDA is getting on mamas now. No, no, no. This is no indictment against women. This is no indictment against mothers, anything like that. But this is a call to arms for you to look at, what have you really been battling inside that game is not going to resolve until you resolve this. Everyone, every time I seen a woman in a management role, they take too emotional and dramatic, right? Okay, yeah. But this is a call to arms, not to you want to fight your mom and you mad at your mom. No, it's not that. This is not a call to arms to be mad at women, because we are not here to bash women. This is not this channel. If you want that, it's the wrong place. It ain't that. So don't come over here talking about. But this is a call to arms for you to look at yourself and say, the real issue that I'm having is not the game. Is the real issue inside of me is the pain points of the lack of leadership, or I'm listening to the advice of leadership of things that my mother gave me that I missed from my father. That's the real issue. Because if you had your father's information inside of you, the game will flow out of you easily. Some of y'all hardware needs to be taken out and put back and need to be put back in. And I'm gonna see it this way, and I know everybody ain't gonna like it. A lot of the information that you're getting especially in the education system, on these YouTube streets, even in the manosphere, has been filtered through a feminine mindset. Or well, I'll say it this way. Let me be a little, say it a different way. A feminist mindset. Even some talking points inside of the manosphere has been filtered through a feminist mindset. No, this is rough today. Some of the talking points, even in the manosphere, some of the advice that is given is filtered through a feminist mindset and not that of a masculine mindset and that of a man. Because when a man steps into his masculinity, it is not in his nature to hate a woman. Man, it was time to find you. Sometimes within me, I'll listen to you. Something within me. Thank God, I appreciate it. If dad isn't stepping up to the plate, but mom is trying her best, whose leadership advice should you? That's a good point. Good point right there. And there's an internal battle. If dad ain't stepping up to the plate, and mom is, there's an internal battle that you are seeing as a kid. So how do we resolve even that? How do we resolve that? How do we deal with how do we rewire that information where we see moms having to step up because dad was acting a damn fool. Dad couldn't handle the money, or he was drinking, or he was on drugs, or he was dealing with your mom and then dealing with five other women. Well, we got to deal with that too. It affected you as a kid. I believe you can respect your mom, but when you see the example of a true man leadership, you gravitate towards that. Great point. Yeah, that's a good point, DJ Barry Spark. Yeah, that's a very good point because we had a lot of dads who did not step up, but we still need to address the war that's going on inside of a lot of men that we do not want to talk about, but we want to glaze over it with game, or we're talking about getting women. Thank you so much. That's a very great point. That's why boys would follow another male figure like they like. Correct. Now, this is the dangerous part, and I'm gonna say this. This is a very dangerous part, and I gotta go. This is the dangerous part because that internal war is going on and the pain is not there. If you're not careful, you need to pay attention to what I'm about to say to you. Y'all need to pay attention to what I'm about to say to you, and I'm about to go. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate that. But y'all need to be careful. What I'm about to say to you is very. Yep. You pretty much about to say what I'm about to say. If you're not careful and there's that void there because there's no leadership or there's no male figure, there's not been a coach, there's has been a leader there or someone that guides you in the same way. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. You end up because of your hurt and because of your pain and because of your void, end up gravitating to male leaders who mean you no good. Because of your pain, because of your confusion of who to listen to or not to listen to, or my dad didn't step up, or because things didn't go right, out of desperation, you end up gravitating to seemingly masculine leadership or masculine men who use you and abuse you. You end up gravitating to what? Masculine leadership or seemingly masculine leadership who lead you and abuse you, who know you have a need and try to take advantage of you. I've seen it too many times in real life. Two things they do. They abuse you and use you and misuse your masculinity, or what they'll do, y'all don't want to talk about this on this YouTube channel. What they'll do is rapers, they'll use you and abuse you, brothers. And some of them, because you're so needing that masculine validation and masculine leadership, they will, can't use the R word in here. They will sexually take advantage of you. Oh, I've seen it. They will sexually try to take advantage of you because they know that you need that masculine validation that only a man can give. And what they'll do is they'll try to take it away from you. Okay. Before you go, please mention the foundation building blocks for a man of leadership. Okay. Those are those playbills, and we'll lead you down the money tree. Yep. Okay. So, okay, before I go. So one of the foundations, so I got that gave one thing for the one foundation. One of the foundational things is you for leadership and for, let me make sure I got this right, what you said, because I think it was a good, for foundation, for building blocks, for man, for leadership. You cannot be a leader until you learn how to follow. You must become a student before you become a teacher. Many men want to lead. They want to, I'm going to show you how to do this, but they have not sat down and learned how to follow. That's one. First point, the first one is you must have your identity in place as a man. You must know that you are a man. You only get that identity what? From what? Being around other men and other men confirming you. Who has confirmed who you are? Who can I call and say, yo, this is a good brother? Because they have seen your character, they've seen how you move, they know how you do. If I was to call governor right now, he'll tell you about who I am. Why? Because I have accountability to that man. So one thing is, of course, identity, be teachable, be able to follow, accountability. When accountability comes, what? Responsibility. Those are building blocks. I can go on and on about other building blocks. Being able to what? Give instructions. Understand the people that are who are beneath you, who have to follow you. Being able to listen. None of those things, none of those, oh, I lose a connection. Those things have to do with a woman. Not one of those things. But guess what? Uh-oh, what did I do with my keys? But all those things, all those things, what? Every woman wants. Hold on, I'm gonna look for my stuff first. I don't see my keys. Oh, I hit my key. Yeah, I was like, I knew I dropped something. Appreciate that, bro. All right, appreciate that, Blake. That's it. All right, appreciate that, Blake. All right, sorry about that. I didn't drop my keys to my car. Brother Ken, I got a very, can't have that dropping, drop the keys to my car. I don't even know how they even came out. I should be back. Appreciate you guys. So all those things, those foundational things that we just named, we can expound on them. Has nothing to do with a woman, nothing at all. But every woman wants a leader. All the things that we talked about has nothing to do with a woman, but every woman wants that leader. But this is Lawrence D. Adams. I'm actually running. I gotta do double duty here. Get inside my car. I know y'all want to see what kind of car I got, but see here. Let's see, get inside of this car. Oh man, I can't believe I dropped my keys. I must have been really talking it up. Oh man. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Uh-oh, we can't play that because now. But if you guys enjoyed this conversation today, it was relatively deep. It was sort of deep. I know I went in. I said some things that might have offended somebody. I really don't care. May not like what I said. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't give a rat's butt. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna man up or leave this channel, plain and simple. Let me put my seatbelt on because I gotta roll. Got everything. Yeah, wallet, everything. Yep. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Trying to get my orientation. There we go. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for everything. Catch y'all on Friday. Catch you on Friday. Let me get this light right quick. Shoot. Peace.